And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Americas, baby, Americas. Oh, it has been a week. It's been a week, and we are back. It's been 8 hours, less than 8 hours since our last cast. But we are here. We are awake. We are ready to dive into some more StarCraft. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkioni, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss, the blue Protoss player representing Team License to Kill. It is Rhizer. Also, he may or may not be on LTK. I just realized that it's been a while. It has been a while, and I just realized that he doesn't have a clan tag in games. I should probably message him afterwards to get a read of what is going on. But yeah, it's been a while. Again, we used to cast Rhizer quite frequently back in the day, back a couple of years ago. He used to compete more often in these online tournaments. Rhizer did take a step back from the game, and he has been less active this year, which has been a bit of a shame. But it's great to see Rhizer returning here to competitive play, and I wish him the best because he's up against a big name. He's up against one of the bigger players in this weekly tournament. !B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. There's quite a lot going on, quite a lot of matches happening, quite a big bracket as well. So oh boy, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to take in, and I'll do my best. I'll do my best to go over the bracket once we wrap up this series, as we still have the series to go over. Let's go. Let us go. Again, Rhizer, the NA player who used to be quite active last year. I was going to say years ago, but really it was just last year even, where he was more active. And good to see him return to the game. But in current era, in current meta, in the current map pool, can he take it to Dark? Because Dark is one of the best, the best Zerg player in South Korea. Oh boy, last night we were casting Dark in Korea versus the world, and we had the luxury of casting him against Max Pax, and he was the one that ended the reign of terror of the Max Pax. Max Pax, he took down Maru, he took down Solar, and then Dark stood in his way and said no, and Queen Roachall in him. many times, and it worked. It did work. GG. Yeah, in this we have a Stargate Emperor, so it looks like a standard start here for Rhizer, and I appreciate the standard start. I appreciate that we have like a standard setup here from Rhizer. Even though he's up against one of the best Zerg players in the world, so far he is unrelenting. He's not flinching. He's going for a standard game. Now I expect something a little bit devious after this. I expect, a third base into maybe a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, or just something a bit out of the norm at some point in this series. So my eyes are really on Rhizer at the moment. For now, Dark happily droning. He's warming up. He's getting ready for a day full of StarCraft, and nothing too out of the norm yet. We have additional queens on the way. We're just getting set up, spreading creep, getting everything sorted. And the Overlord is going to be hunted down. At least, Dark is fully aware of what's happening. He's aware. Oh, no! He's fully aware of what's happening as he does get eyes on the Oracle. At the same time, he's going to be harassing this third base as well, just trying to pull apart the attention of Rhizer. The Overlord does go down, and Rhizer will hold on to his third base, thankfully, without too much issue. Behind this Oracle, second Oracle even, is on the way, and the first is zooming across the map. Dark should be in the position here at his third base. He's got 3 queens. We have 2 queens here in the main. Spores on the way. This third base is exposed, but the queens are waddling on in. And ooh, yeah, Dark, he does react in time. He does pull back, make sure that his drones are safe and sound before he goes back to mining. And now we have 2 and 2 and 2 queens at every single base, and of course spores on the way as well. So Dark is looking strong. Dark is looking good. Oh, and Dark is going for a lair. Pretty standard lair timing. Oh, I'm used to Dark getting like a 3-minute lair. we saw a lot of like sub 4-minute lair timings last night. Okay, I'm expecting it now. I'm expecting it from Dark. But yeah, this is a more standard timing here. Instead, I say standard, still early though. I should put emphasis on that. Typically, you do delay it a little bit further here in this matchup. So this was around a 4-minute 30 layer timing. Roach Warren is on the way. And from here, Dark, I'm sure, is just going to be focusing on getting scouting information from his opponent. As the Queens are attempting to rotate around to keep up with these Oracles. 3 of them are headed into that natural. And they do get a couple of worker kills. 2 drones go down. But so far, that is all the economic damage that's been done so far here by Rhizer. Back confirming, saturating his bases, working on his transition. It is a Twilight Council and a Forge. Not a Twilight Council on its own. Which means we are working towards charge +1 and Archons as well. We have that Templar Archives. Now, Dark is not aware. He's not fully aware of what's going on yet. He's checking with his lings, he's poking, prodding, and he doesn't find a way in. He confirms saturation at least. And as soon as he confirms saturation, oh, interesting. So I thought we were going to be going for a Roach heavy composition because we had +1 range on the way, but no, it is going to be Roach into Hydras. We have seen Dark very fond of Hydras recently enough. We have seen him very fond of those Hydras, and it's been really cool to see him incorporate them as quickly or as much as he can. It's a little bit inspiring. It's really cool to see Dark embrace the new Hydra the way that he has. He hasn't really dabbled as much in Ling Bane Roach. Solar has. When I think about the Korean players, and we have been casting a lot of Dark and Solar these past couple of days. Solar, he's still he still mixes in Hydras every now and then, but he's still more fond of the older school composition of going Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Dark has been really embracing that Hydra. Here we go, the Oracles, they do dive back in, threatening this fourth base quite a lot and looking for a cancel, but they will not get it. They're looking for it though, and it's getting quite close. Up. Ooh, and he will just barely force a cancel for the cost of some Oracles. At the same time, across the map, the Roaches do go for a big counterattack, looking to apply pressure here to the 4th base of Rhizer. So far, trading well against these Zealots. So we have an Immortal, we have even more Zealots being warped in. This gives confirmation to Dark as to the army composition of his opponent, as Hydras are on the way. And a good trade overall. We can see here, I say a good trade, 7 Roaches for 9 Zealots. I didn't have trading blow for blow, but did also get eyes on the 4th base as well. And here we go, we're just building up towards our push. Dark going to be joining up to 80 at this point, or to 74. He's getting his 4th base. I'm running his double expanding as well, going for the 4th and the gold. This is something that's been really interesting about this match. We've spoken about this before, but this space has been very commonly taken by a lot of the pro players as a 4th, which grants access to a much faster gold on Alcyone. As the Roach Hydra pushes on forward, the storm isn't done. 2 High Templar go down. A storm, is done, but I guess we just didn't have the energy for it. It's a good trade so far here from Dark. He takes down the shield battery. Storm gets thrown down, but Lings are flooding on in, and Dark just forcing his way in, getting on top of the Archon already. But the Immortals are still alive. Rhizer, he lost quite a lot in that exchange. He lost most of his High Templar, but he warps in another wave. 5 more High Templar. Slowly gathering up energy for Storm. The army has been spotted. Dark remaxing with more Hydras, more Roaches. He's trying to force the issue. Goal base being focused, being prioritized. He is already fully saturated. I appreciate as well we knocked down the rocks, just to make it easier to defend. Here we go, the Roach Hydra has arrived, and do we have enough energy for Storm? We do! 5 Storms! Ooh, there's the first. We have 4 more left. We have 3 of them get thrown down. We have 1 remaining here. I think 1 to 2. Decent Storms, and they are thrown down. Juicy connection there on those Hydras. Yeah, that was the final Storm for Rhizer. But there's still such a massive wave of Zerg pushing through, getting on top of the Archons once again. There are a lot of Immortals, but they're looking very exposed. They're putting in a lot of work. But the army of Dark gets on top of the Immortals. The first one goes down. Zell's coming from behind, but the target firing up. The stutter stepping as well. We get the second, we get the third Immortal. Dark is running out of steam a little bit here. He has to back off. And he hasn't touched the economy. That's something that we have to give credit where credit is due. And Rhizer, he's holding. You know, he maintains his 4 base economy. Unfortunately, he lost a lot of Immortals and has been losing a lot of High Templar, so he's been having a hard time building up his army. Dark has been trading, and he's been getting these high-tech units, these high-value targets. Yeah, he pushes in once again. Not enough for Storm. Forcing the High Templar to morph into Archons, and once his outs go down, these Immortals are looking so exposed. First Immortal does go down. Good spread here on these Hydras. The Archons are falling as well. Alright, so he's just trying to survive, Pop. He's just trying to hold on, but the Hydras, they just won't stop. And once again, it's been a long time since we've seen a Storm, and we're not getting another. We have a detection just in case with the Overseer. We bust into the natural. GG gets called, and Dark takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Dark with his own economy, not just his economy, but his goal base. He was just snowballing out of control. He could not be stopped, despite the best efforts there. Oh, Rhizer. Oh. Despite the best efforts, as a massive shout out to C Grail in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Resubscribing. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Archons once again. Oh. Your voice doesn't sound awake. Yeah. Look, I may have just woken up. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I may have just woken up 5 minutes before the cast. Look, we were up late last night casting. Okay, we were up late. It's all good. We're here. We're present. We're here. But thank you so much, C Grail. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support always, always. 9 months in a row. 9 months! That's a lot of months. Thank you. Thank you. Letting some of the casters aware of the current score that's going on. Getting everyone involved. Catching up in the chat. Catching up. Send energy to light. Or better yet, send Ram. Oh. I'll be okay. I'll be good. Look, we're used to just waking up and just jumping right into the casting seat. Onto the casting couch, Bobby. Let's go. This is what we do. Dark Kobe pasta incoming. Oh, God. Light's chest is a community figure. Stay away from my chest. From my chest. Hands off, Poppy. Hello, Amito. Hello. Welcome. Hey, good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Again, we're still in the early hours, or the early days of this tournament. Still in the early rounds. And we'll go over the bracket. We'll go over the bracket once we wrap up with our first series. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming and leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Protoss representing Team LTK, I think. I should ask him about that. It is Rhizer. Think he's seen this. But here we go. And again, when it comes to Alcyone, it has been really interesting to see the expansion patterns that have been quite popular on that map, especially from Zerg players and, I mean, players alike, working towards that gold base. And that really did help fuel Dark's push and just force the issue. That's why he just would not stop breaking into that fourth base of Rhizer. And even though Dark may not have gotten the economy, which again we have to mention, right? Like Rhizer, he was able to hold on to his workers, to his mineral lines. He wasn't losing anything, but he was trading with the army of Dark, and Dark was just getting all these high value targets, High Templar, Archons, Immortals, time and time again, not allowing Rhizer to really build up. And because of that gold base, because of the economy, Dark just would not stop either, just not giving Rhizer the time that he needed to breathe, and snowballing out of control. So GG, well played. And we'll see how things differ here on Hecate, where there is half a goal base, I guess. We could maybe see that incorporated somehow in this. But for the time being, Hatch Gas Pool. Hatch Gas Pool here from Dark. Likewise, Rhizer going for a gate expand into a Cybercore. Very standard openers for the time being, and my eyes are still on Rhizer, you know, like, even though the last game was very standard, stock standard, you know, Stargate into a third base, into charge +1, expecting game 2 for something different to occur instead, you know, show us some NA, papi. Let's go. For now, Stargate is thrown down for Rhizer, so everything is looking normal, everything is looking as it should. As Dark takes his third base back at home as well. Rhizer not quite there to stop him, not there to delay him. Dark is just able to get everything up and running from here. Now, if you recall, in the previous game, Rhizer did go Oracle first, but he actually delayed his aggression. He kept the Oracle back at home, just making sure he cleaned up the Overlord first before moving out. See if he does something similar. So we do have that Stalker on the way, and yeah, the Oracle is in production as well. Meanwhile, across the map, the aggression has begun. We have 2 Adepts from Rhizer, going to be threatening a shade into the main base. Lings have arrived though, and they arrive just in time to threaten us around. So Rhizer will back off. And he's sharking around, looking for a way in, looking for Dark to be out of position. But so far, Dark does keep up. Behind this, Rhizer takes the third base. Oracle does arrive. He's going to be zooming across the map. And Dark does confirm this. With an Overlord Scout into the main base, he dips on forward, gets eyes on the Stargate, on the second Oracle that's in production, and Dark is able to dip on out. So again, a solid scout here out of Dark. Fully aware of what's going on. As a result, we have spores on the way. One in the natural, or one at the third, one in the main. Queens are being split up, just like the last game. Just very standard setup here. 2 queens at each base. And it's going to be on Rhizer to find us some damage to break through, regardless of the queens. And to try to create an opening if possible as well. The Adepts, they do make it back home, so we don't have like any kind of hyper harassment where it's the Oracles in conjunction with the Adepts. No, the Adepts are staying back at home instead. It's only the Oracles. As they try to dip in, they get 1 drone so far, with good target firing, good positioning, and already Rhizer gets forced back. It's already a lot of damage on one of those Oracles. And Dark is looking solid. Lair now on the way. 5-minute timing here on the Lair. Roaches, or Roach Ward, Evo Chamber. Again, very similar setup to the last game. The lair and the tech is a little bit later, but Dark has just been greedier, just completely saturating and droning up his 3 bases. Now he's working on his gases. The Oracles, they dip into that natural, but no, the Queens are here once again. And the Oracles don't do any damage. Meanwhile, from the side of Rhizer, I expected to see something a little bit different here, but no, now that the 3rd base is being saturated, we are still taking up into Twilight Council, a Forge, a Templar Archives, +1, and Charge are on the way. Charge Lot Archon once again from Rhizer. Oh, the target flag up. Oh my god, the Oracles barely will make it out. No, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. One Oracle goes down. And how many drones have we killed? 2 drones. 1 Oracle for 2 workers. That is not worth it here for Rhizer. Behind this Dark, he's taking a 4th base. Going straight for an infestation pit. Okay. Dark, Papi, you have my attention. So, Roach into Lair. I assume we're going towards... Actually... So if Dark correctly deduces what's going on, that it is going to be Charge Archon, we could see Swarmhost. Nidus is on the... never mind. Nidus is on the way. But yeah, this actually could be a setup for Swarmhost, which can do well against this kind of army here from Rhizer, but we'll see. We'll see what we work towards. As for now, we don't really have much of an army. Roach Ravager gets across the map and is going to be able to pick off a couple of these zealots. Really good timing. There it is. Swarmhosts are on the way. Those wondering, Swarmhosts kind of fell out of fashion against Protoss, but again, they're still very viable against this army composition, specifically of Charge Archon. The reason for this is it's really difficult to keep up and punish the Swarmhosts because this army is so immobile compared to Blinkstalkers. Blinkstalkers have map control. They run around the map entirely around the bases and just chase down and shut down Swarmhosts. They shut down Nidus Worms. Charge Archon has a harder time doing so. Here we go. Swarmhosts are rallying across the map. I love that we have the Nidus on the front line so we can escape. Uh-oh, and we want to try to dive on top of these High Templar if possible. Here we go, the Locust Wave is upon us. Oh, without too many Archons, this Locust Wave is going to get damage done. And we are going straight for the mineral line. Storm will miss, and just like that, 11, 12 workers go down in the blink of an eye. 12 probes, ay. The army stands strong, but the economy, not so much. As the Swarmhost will back off. We have a Nidus here on the right hand side, and now we can go for another mineral line. And Rhizer's being pulled apart. We have Roaches and Lynx coming in from the left hand side again, distracting Rhizer. Taking a storm to the face, but hey, the Roaches, they can tank a couple of storms. They can dance with the army. Locust Wave is coming in on a bit of an A move, but has been retargeted. He's going straight for the mineral line once again, and we don't have an answer for this. We go straight for the Nexus, and the Nexus goes down. How many Swarmhosts do we have? 16 Swarmhosts. Just bullying Rhizer, killing a mineral line, and now a base. And we go straight for the main. Oh my god. Dark, calm down, Papi, calm down. We're going straight for the main base. The Roach is looking for another way in, trying to catch some of these units if possible. Doesn't quite get a High Templar, but forces out 2 storms. As the Swarmhost goes straight for the main, and Rhizer just now sees this. It was out of vision. We have Locust Waves into the 4th, into the main. The Roach is continuing to threaten the High Templar. Oof. Do have to be careful with the Roaches. You know, they can take a couple of storms, but not too many. As we do get the Forge. Oh my god. Both Forges. No, one. Okay. As the Roaches, they will get cleaned up at the same time. We do have a big Zealot run by across the map. But the Roaches, they get here in time. They clean up the Zealots. And Rhizer's being forced into an all-in. There is another way about this. There isn't another way about this. Yeah, the Locust Wave heading towards that 4th base once again. Heading into the main. And now the all-in is here. Rhizer with Archons, High Templar, Immortals, no buffer. Like, this is a very, very high value army, but no Zealots to really support this. Roach is hitting the 3rd base as well. Rhizer, his economy is in shambles. And he's about to push into lurkers. Throughout all of this, throughout all of the harassment, again, we only had 16 swarm hosts. We didn't make any more. We've been taking up into lurkers, and they're on hold position. Up! They do go up. Lurkers are a bit exposed, but they get so many spines off here on the army. High Templar, one remains. No more storms. And we can even use the Locust Wave defensively back at home as well. Ah, get away, Bobby, get away. Locust Wave does force back the army. But what are we really going back to? We're going back to an empty third, a half mining fourth. The main is gone. The tech as well, and thankfully we can still morph in High Templar. We have some Archons on the way. Archons are being morphed in. But this is going to be the final push here of Rhizer. And pushing up a ramp into Lunkers, that's going to be a tough one. There it is, the final storm from Rhizer. Dark staggering his Locust Waves as well. High Templar goes down and no more reinforcements. And the Swarm Hosts, they make their way across the map, going for the last real mining base of Rhizer. And they get the Nexus. Nexus goes down at the same time. Rhizer does find his way up the ramp. He does push forward. Good bait from those roaches. Another big stasis trap goes off as well on the Hydras. Rhizer, he's doing well for himself here, but again, he doesn't really have an answer to these lurkers. Takes down the Roach Warren. And he may be able to take down this hatchery as well. Yeah, gets the base. Up, just barely. At the same time, a Zealot Rumba here on the right-hand side, but it runs into lurkers. And Dark has taken another fourth. So again, Dark's economy hasn't been ideal either, just because he's been losing his bases. But he still has the fourth base, and he still has an insane army. And he's had enough. He's like, screw it. We're going across the map. We're moving out. We're going for the kill move. Detection's a little bit out of position. These Immortals, they take a lot of hits. They take down the defending lurkers. Continuing to push on forward. Do you have a do you have a couple of Zealots being warped in across the map? We feed back the Queens, and Rhizer's gaining ground, but the Swarm Hosts come back, Pappy. Do come back. Ooh, Prism goes down, and the army of Rhizer gets cleaned up. GG gets called. That is all we had left, and Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark as he does advance on. And a shout out to Rhizer as well. I mentioned before, but Rhizer, he used to be a much more active player quite some time ago. It's great to see him return. Great to see him back here competing and playing against Dark, and not looking too bad either. Like, sure, he was having a hard time keeping up with a lot of these Locust Waves and the Nidus Swarms, of course. Dark was going back and forth, hitting bases, going into the main. But at the same time, Rhizer, he was able to maintain his army, push out, and yeah, you know, he made a series out of it in the end. GG. GG, well played.